My name's Daniel, and for 8 years I thought I understood what partnership meant. My wife, Lauren, was ambitious, sharp, and confident, qualities that drew me in from the start. She worked in corporate marketing, the kind of world where power suits and ego often spoke louder than talent. I admired her drive, but over time that admiration slowly turned into distance. Her hours got longer, her phone stayed locked, and conversations shifted from, "How was your day?" to, "I'm too tired to talk about work." I didn't press too hard. Maybe that was my mistake. You never realize the exact moment your marriage starts to dissolve. It happens in silence, like paint fading under sunlight. One Friday night, she mentioned her company was hosting a formal event downtown. She said it so casually, pouring herself a glass of wine. "It's just networking," she told me. "Nothing fancy." But when she stepped out of the bedroom, wearing a dress I'd never seen before, I felt something in my chest twist. It wasn't jealousy, it was recognition. She wasn't dressing for me. At the event, I tagged along as her +1, mostly to show support. The ballroom was full of people who looked like they were born into success. Glass chandeliers, laughter echoing off marble floors, waiters gliding through with champagne trays. I've never liked those scenes, but I knew Lauren thrived in them. That's when her boss, Richard Hayes, appeared. Tall, confident, early 50s maybe, the kind of man who filled every room he entered. He shook my hand firmly, his smile sharp enough to cut glass. "You must be Daniel," he said. "Lauren talks about you." His tone made it sound like a polite lie. He turned to her then, eyes lingering too long. "You didn't tell me you'd be bringing a date," he said, like I wasn't even there. The people around us laughed softly, as if it were an inside joke. Lauren laughed too. An awkward, performative sound that didn't reach her eyes. That moment burned itself into me. I saw how she looked at him, nervous but flattered. He'd claimed her in front of everyone, not as a professional, but as something that belonged to him. And the worst part? She didn't correct him. The rest of the night was a blur of polite smiles and hidden humiliation. I stayed by her side, but we might as well have been strangers. When Richard raised a toast later, his hand brushed her lower back, just lightly, but deliberate. My jaw tightened. Lauren didn't flinch. She just smiled, that same half-smile she used when pretending everything was fine. When the night ended, she insisted we take separate cars. "I'll grab a ride with Richard," she said. "He needs me to review some notes for Monday's meeting." I stared at her, waiting for her to realize how that sounded. She didn't. The drive home alone felt endless. I replayed every detail, the way he looked at her, the way she let him. I tried convincing myself it was innocent. But denial only lasts so long when your gut is screaming otherwise. The next morning, she came home wearing the same dress, her hair undone, eyes tired but distant. "We worked late," she said flatly. "You're overreacting." I didn't argue. Something in me went still, like the air before a storm. I made her coffee, kissed her cheek, and said, "Of course." She looked relieved, thinking the conversation was over. It wasn't. That was the moment I stopped reacting emotionally and started thinking logically. If her boss wanted to play power games, and she wanted to dance along, I'd make sure the music stopped on my terms. Quietly, because betrayal doesn't always need confrontation, it just needs timing. And mine was coming. The following week, Lauren behaved like nothing had happened. She smiled at breakfast, talked about weekend plans, sent me random texts during the day, as if erasing that night would rewrite what I saw. But something inside me had already changed. I wasn't angry anymore. I was observant. I started paying attention to her schedule, to the way her tone brightened when Richard's name appeared on her phone, to the sudden increase in team dinners. She thought she was being discreet. She wasn't. People always leave trails when they think no one's watching. I didn't confront her. Instead, I started gathering quiet proof. Not to expose her, but to understand how far she'd gone. I checked our shared credit card statements. Hotel transactions in the city under business expenses. Uber rides starting at midnight from his office address. Even the bouquet charges, flowers always delivered to her work. The details told the story she wouldn't. And once I knew, I started preparing. Lauren's biggest pride wasn't our marriage. It was her reputation. She'd built herself as the ideal professional woman. Respected, admired, disciplined. I'd never take that from her publicly, but I wasn't going to let her walk over me privately either. One Thursday evening, she told me about another corporate retreat that weekend. I nodded and smiled. "You'll need the car?" I asked casually. She said yes. I made sure it would be the last time she borrowed it. Before she left, I quietly canceled the joint card she always used for her trips, the one tied to her hotel points and travel expenses. I also updated the car insurance, removing her name from the policy. I didn't tell her any of this. Saturday morning, she drove off in her best outfit, humming along to music, completely unaware. By noon, my phone buzzed, 2 missed calls, then a message. "Lauren, the card's not working. Did something happen?" I waited. "Lauren, Daniel, I need this fixed now. I'm at the front desk." "Me, it's a personal card now. Try using your own." 15 minutes later, she called again. "You're being ridiculous," she said sharply. "I'm with my boss. This is embarrassing." I kept my tone calm. "Then maybe you should ask him to cover it. He seems to have no issue claiming you in front of people." Silence. For the first time, she didn't have a rehearsed answer. Later that evening, while she scrambled to salvage her weekend, I met with a friend who worked in the same firm. Someone who'd quietly told me months ago that Richard's interest in Lauren wasn't a secret. Apparently, he had a pattern. Charming his subordinates until things turned messy, then moving on. By Sunday night, Lauren came home furious, exhausted, still trying to spin control. "You humiliated me," she said. "Richard saw the whole thing." I looked at her evenly. "Good. Maybe now he'll realize you already had someone at home." Her eyes narrowed. "You're trying to punish me." "No," I said quietly. "I'm reminding you what respect feels like." That night, she slept in the guest room. I didn't hear her cry, but I knew she did. And for the first time in months, I slept soundly. 2 weeks later, rumors started spreading through her office. Richard's professional relationships had reached HR. A complaint had surfaced, not from Lauren, but from someone else he'd treated the same way. She was just another name in the pattern. One evening, she came home early. Her voice was small when she said, "He's been suspended." I didn't respond. Then she added, "I think I made a mistake." Maybe she did. But mistakes are lessons, not excuses. I told her I'd already spoken to a lawyer. We could handle things respectfully. She didn't argue this time. She just nodded, tears slipping silently down her cheeks. The next morning, as she packed her things, I felt nothing. No rage, no sadness, just closure. The same kind of quiet she once gave me now returned. Before she left, she looked back and said, "You really didn't have to do this." I met her eyes and said, "Neither did you." When the door closed, I took a deep breath and poured myself a cup of coffee. The house felt lighter, almost peaceful. Sometimes, revenge isn't about destroying someone. It's about reclaiming yourself, piece by piece, until their power over you disappears completely. And as for her boss, he learned too late that not every man he humiliates stays silent. Some of us just wait for the right moment to make our move.